Welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko, and I'm joined here with my buddy Evan.
The Earthlings.
So, before we get into today's episode, here is a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
I'm excited, as always.
Always, yes, that's great. You're excited. And yeah, there's something different in the air tonight.
Yeah, there is.
Would you say?
There is. And you guys have to spot it. We're not going to tell you what it is.
It's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Some of you
It's not
like
related
Easter
to the
eggs.
topic, but anyways.
Something in this episode, video, if you're watching us, that is different. And if you can spot it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
We will reveal it in the next episode.
exactly. Right.
But that aside, so you've been good?
Been good. How
Doing
about you?
well? Good. Not too bad. Been going down a deep rabbit hole for this topic.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be a very deep and philosophical one.
As always, that's what we tend to go towards.
Always.
Right? But yeah, so let us begin with a little teaser to start off.
Like we always do.
Always.
Oh, I saw a cat in the corner there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
I just realized.
you just saw it. It was just peeking its eyes.
Yeah.
All right, so to begin with, a little like.
Is that an atomic structure?
Okay, well, we'll see what it is. Yeah, sure. So you see an image here,
Yeah.
right? There's like black and white. So what do you see in that image?
I see a cube with like black circles on each corner.
Okay, but like mainly, what do you see? Like what's the main thing in
okay.
the image?
The main thing in the image.
Yeah. What is
Cube.
Yeah, a cube. Yeah, okay. So you see a cube. But is it really a cube?
Oh, we're talking about like perspectives.
Okay. It's getting close. But basically, yeah, like when we look at this image, right?
Yeah.
What it is mostly like these half black circles with like these angles.
Right.
You know, there's like a bunch of them. And put together, it gives us the perception that it's a cube.
Yeah.
But it isn't really. So what this is actually called something in psychology, the law of closure.
Okay.
Which comes from the Gestalt School of Psychology. So this school of psychology says that a lot of the things that we perceive is basically us trying to like complete the information, like the lacking information.
Yeah, like fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps, basically. Like you look at this, you're like, that looks like a cube. But even though it's missing a lot of parts,
Yeah.
to be a cube. But this is just a teaser. The topic of today is not about the law of closure or the Gestalt psychology. This is just to segue into the topic, which is the interface theory of perception.
Okay. So I was onto something earlier.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, with the
That sounds
perspective
cool.
thing. So yeah, this is a little bit of a complex topic, but I'm going to try to,
Okay.
make it easier to understand. And as you see here, another image that I've put, which is a classic visual illusion.
Yeah, you could see them like coming closer.
So what do you see in this image? Basically, there's two things that you see.
Okay, so I see two faces, and
What do you see?
I
What else?
just see them like somehow coming in and out towards each other, like the two
Okay.
faces.
Okay, yeah. So there are the two faces, but if you look closely in the middle, what does it look like in between the faces? A vase.
Okay, sure. I can't see that, but yeah.
Really?
Maybe it's just how I'm sitting.
No, but like look at the black only.
The black.
Like if you ignore the white faces,
Yeah.
it's a vase.
Oh, a
A
vase.
vase, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or was I say-
I heard a face.
Oh, face. Sorry.
Okay.
A vase.
A vase. Yeah.
My bad.
Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Didn't pronounce it correctly. Yeah. So you have like these two faces that then make the shape
Yeah.
of a vase.
That's cool.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, so what is
But is it just me, or they're actually like moving. Is that supposed to happen, or is that just my eyes that are weird?
Yeah, I don't know. No, they're not supposed to be moving. It's not that type
moving.
of
Okay.
illusion.
It's weird. There's definitely some type of ocular illusion going on here, because it looks like they're like.
But that's in your head.
It is.
That is you. That's constructing that. We'll see more about that later on. All right, so what is the interface theory of perception? So this theory basically proposes that we do not see reality for what it truly is. Okay. And we have kind of touched about this topic of reality. What is reality? What do we see? Dreams, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But basically this says that we reconstruct reality in our minds. So whatever we see is basically what is a user interface for us.
Okay.
Like the objects that you see, the colors that you see, you that I'm seeing is my interface that I'm interacting with reality.
And what you're receiving is not, it just depends on how you perceive it and how you want to receive it.
How our consciousness is reconstructing what we're seeing. Because if I go deeper in you, you're made of cells. Go deeper, you're made of atoms. Go deeper, it's like waves and whatever, radio waves. So there is more to reality than what our eyes perceive.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So yeah, whatever we perceive as reality is basically a dumbed down version of the truth. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's just an overview of this theory. So just before we go on that, like an example here. Is this man actually seeing a tomato? Or
you just put the tomato in there because you like tomatoes, don't you?
Me, I want to eat that tomato, but that's another story.
Does Heiko want to eat the tomato, or does he not?
That's a good question, but yes.
That's the most philosophical question of them all.
Should I eat the tomato or should I not eat the tomato? That was the question. But yeah, so I just put this kind of silly example to show that, people would be like, well, I'm looking at this tomato. It looks like a tomato. I see it's red, round. It looks like a tomato. It must be a tomato. But that's what you're constructing in your mind with the colors that you're seeing. It's all basically in your head. Like if I close my eyes, or if I'm not able to perceive with my consciousness, am I actually able to see what reality is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of comes back to that topic we had the other time with, like, we're conditioned to like seeing certain things. Like if we hadn't seen it before, what we know about the tomato, you know what I mean? Like if someone hadn't told you this is a tomato, like would you know? Like would you actually be seeing a tomato, or would you just be seeing a sphere?
Yeah, just. Well, what was that? Which episode was that where we were?
The one with, I think it was philosophically deep.
The language that shapes the thought, or was it that question?
Yeah,
I think?
like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Does language shape our thought, or thought shape our language?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, like, if you didn't have the tools with which to perceive it, would you be able to? Yeah. So anyway, so let's see who is behind this theory. So this was developed by a professor called Donald D. Hoffman in the 90s.
Donald D. Trump.
Donald D. Yeah. No, that's Donald J. Trump.
Oh,
yeah.
J. There you go. Close enough.
Yeah. He's another type of Donald. Intelligent one. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. So he's an American cognitive scientist who basically studies like visual perception, consciousness, evolutionary psychology, and a lot of like mathematical models to explain how we perceive reality. Like he says that there's a lot of mathematical equations that explain how we evolve, how we perceive. It's not just willy-nilly. I'm imagining, I'm theorizing this out of thin air. Like there are mathematical calculations to explain this.
Sorry, I keep jumping back to old episodes, but I feel like a lot of our episodes do kind of tie into each other. Last episode on the tier list one, we talked about how calculus is like a framework to describe reality.
Yes, yeah.
And that's it right there.
That's so true, right?
Or just numbers in general. Remember how we rated it really high? If it wasn't for like the numeral system, then we wouldn't be able to understand certain concepts and make theories like this one to, explain perception. And
it just opens up so much more of our understanding of the world. It's just, math and equations and all that. It's just everything works around it.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, even if we can't understand it, there's some math involved. You know, even in organic biological things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the evolution of perception. So how do we evolve to perceive, right? So evolution actually favors those who do not see reality for what it is.
Okay.
So
see the bigger picture.
Yeah, well, oh, okay, like see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, if you're seeing reality, you would go extinct.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying, right? Because it's not the organisms that can see, like, oh my God, I can see what the truth is. I have unknown knowledge. It's actually those who don't know the unknown knowledge and disregard it and just focus on what is important. Like us humans, we needed to see, okay, who are the predators? You know, where's the sun? What color is the water? You know, what is going to bring me to survive? I don't need to know that water is made out of vibrations and atoms, and it's like, get the hell out of here, you know?
Yeah, we saw the bigger picture and we're like, water is essential to survival, and that's why I need it, right? It's not like...
Yes, exactly. So through evolution, we have simplified our perception of reality to help us navigate like more efficiently and survive.
Yeah.
You know, if I took a freaking, you know, magnifying glass at everything, I need to know what reality really is. Like some people, you know, they really try to focus on every little detail and really... I don't know, I ain't saying names, but...
Not targeting anyone here.
Just, you know, but sometimes, yeah, it's better to see the bigger picture and to see what is the most efficient route, you know, to progress.
Exactly. Yeah, because exactly, like for a species to evolve and to develop, if it was so like always specific and nitpicking all the small details, then it wouldn't be able to progress, right? It had to envision all the different things that could advance us as a species, right? Combined, rather than just one thing. And
like you generalize certain things. You say, okay, certain types of animals that look like this, you know, get away. And, you know, these kinds of foods, those are poisonous. I need to stay away. You know, that kind of thing. It's so that's what helped us, you know, survive. So that's the interface part of it that we developed. So it basically hides some of the reality and it reconstructs it in a way for us to survive. So basically, organisms that accurately perceived reality didn't survive.
Yeah.
Which is counterintuitive. You think like, well, us humans, we are, you know, the humans that we are today is because we accurately perceive the world. You know, we can see what things are for what they are. But are you really seeing things for what they are?
Yeah.
You basically found hacks, life hacks.
Exactly, yeah. If we would take everything from like face value, then we wouldn't have survived. You know, we understood the deeper meaning behind certain aspects of our reality or our interface. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what helped us, you know, go forward. So to move forward here.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Let us give an example here. The love story of the Australian jewel beetle and a beer bottle.
Okay.
Oh, there's a love story with an insect and a bottle? Yeah, there is. So this is kind of an example of, you know, perceiving reality accurately. Does it help us or does it not? So basically, in Australia, there are these jewel beetles that mate with females who can't fly, but they look brown, dimpled, and glossy. Okay.
So mated with a bottle.
So what happens is that in the wild, you know, humans like us, they have a drink, and they throw their bottles in the outback. And then these jewels, you know, jewel beetles, they fly around, and then they see a bigger, shinier, glossier version. So they want that hot mate, you know?
Wow.
And a lot of them just swarm onto these bottles and they try to mate with the bottles. And they're just not interested in the real thing anymore.
It's like beetle dopamine.
yeah, it basically is beetle dopamine. They're not interested in the real thing. It's just, yeah, it's like the man who leaves the wife for the bottle, you know. It's just
Oh, this is cool.
So what happened? They were starting to go extinct. So Australia had to stop making beer bottles in that shape and color with those dimples, whatever, just so they could save
the species.
Right?
That's
so, you know, they don't know. They're just seeing, you know, a mate, like a female looks brown, dimpled, and glossy. They can't tell the difference, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So they were going extinct, you know, because they were like, yeah, it needs to be this color, this.
Yeah, they were nitpicking. They were like, yeah, I want my female to be like this and have this. And then it's like, you know how it's like expectation versus reality, like
yeah. But then it turns out,
that's how it turned out. Yeah.
What you didn't think.
Why would it look for like a mate that's like 3 times its size or like 4 times its size?
Yeah, I don't know how the bigger seemed better for them. I guess for them, yeah, the bigger the better.
As they say,
the
bigger the better.
They like it thick, you know.
We're gonna keep this family friendly.
Yeah, let's keep it PG here. But yeah, so you see, they were just lost. They weren't really intelligent in their, you know, perception. So this is, you know, an example of you know, perceiving exactly is not really going to lead to survival.
It's a good example, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so going deeper in this interface, so what is this interface, or what do we actually perceive? So when you look at the sun, the trees, the people, their shape and colors, so those are all the interfaces. And the way Donald Hoffman explains it, he says it's like a desktop where it's an interface, right? Mm-hmm. And the icons and everything, those are the objects around you that you interact with. And what he also says is that space and time, they're only a visualization tool. Like, they only help us navigate the world. Like, they don't, he doesn't want to say that they don't exist, but they only exist because we construct it.
Well, it's kind of like Einstein's theory, right? As like relativity.
I don't know if it goes against like his theory.
Actually, it doesn't. It's hand in hand with it, because Einstein's theory explains that relativity, like space and time, are relative to each of their own perspective, right? So if I'm in one frame of reference, I'm going to interpret space and time in one way. But if you're in another frame of reference,
it's not constant, basically.
Exactly. So it's exactly the same as how Donald envisioned it.
So I guess it falls in line. I mean, damn, Einstein, he's a genius for that.
He is, yeah. But that's probably where he, I guess, took that knowledge, right?
The idea behind it and applied it to this. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, so for him, space and time is just basically, it's constructed in our minds the way we construct reality. It's basically like the stage.
Exactly.
On which everything happens.
And when Einstein like started coming up with these theories, he got a lot of pushback because initially they thought that it was actually one common frame of reference and that like light and time are constant. But then he came out and said, no, it's actually the opposite. The frame of reference is not constant. It just depends on the perspective and the observer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he got a lot of pushback for that, but turns out he was right.
He was right. Okay. And to kind of segue into the next point here, and he explains that it's us, the conscious agents, basically, humans, animals, that are the ones that reconstruct reality in their minds. Yeah. Because without it, reality is not what we think it is.
Exactly.
You know, because we only see reality with our eyes. As soon as I close it, I can't see it. I can't really see what behind the curtain, what is actually there.
Exactly.
Because if I did, I wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Like, I feel like this theory is kind of like another way of looking at Einstein's theory, actually. And it's a different but interesting way of like interpreting it. It's another perception or...
Well, I guess, yeah.
Literally,
It's It's another interface with
exactly, because you're comparing, for example, like eyes open versus eyes closed, but you could also look at it more of like on a like in a physical manner. Let's say I'm on Earth.
Yeah.
How do I perceive reality compared to you, for example, that's in a spaceship and flying over me? Are you going to perceive reality the same? No, you won't. Right?
No, yeah, exactly.
Time is going to be slower for you. Time is going to be accelerated for me on Earth.
Okay. Yeah, in that sense. Yeah, then we go into like physics.
Exactly, but it's interesting because it kind of draws two different ways of looking at it, but it actually means the same thing.
Because at the end of the day, it comes to the observer.
Exactly. Down to the observer.
Down to the observer, yeah. Which is, but there's a thing that people confuse this with, and it's a concept called solipsism. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't heard of it.
Solipsism is basically saying that nothing exists besides the self.
Okay.
As in, we've kind of touched...
Ego.
The ego is included in that, yeah. But I mean, I think we have touched upon this, saying that does reality exist outside my eyes? Like if I'm closing, is reality there?
Yeah.
You know, so solipsism says everything exists because it's a figment of my imagination. Whereas this theory doesn't say that, you know, what you're seeing is, you know, you're just creating this in your head and it doesn't exist. No, he says if I close my eyes, there are other conscious agents that are still experiencing.
Exactly. It's just the observer, right?
Yeah.
If you're closing your eyes, you're not experiencing really what's happening on the outside. But if I have my eyes open, I could still interpret what reality is presented in front of me.
What reality? Yeah. Like the reality itself is there. It's just being experienced by multiple conscious agents.
Yeah.
As he says. Right. So that's the kind of difference between the solipsism and this concept. So yeah, examples of interfaces, right? So just to do like metaphors so people can understand. So like a computer desktop, right? You see an icon, it's a yellow icon, it looks like a folder, you think it's a folder, but is it really a folder? You zoom in, it's a pixel. You go back, it's electric, you know, circuitry, diodes, resistors, ones and zeros,
binary.
Right? But do I need to know that to be able to click on the folder, save my file, and do my work?
Yeah. No, because it's just, why do you need to think that deep, right? Like, you don't.
Yeah.
To get the job done, you're like, all right, let me just click on this freaking folder and do what I have to do.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying the way we perceive the world is that we've basically made things as icons. This is a light, this is a person, that's a tree, so that we can interact with it without, you know, going insane.
It's almost like we're making like an association, right? You're associating like a certain object to like something it does, or like a function. Like kind of like when you're training a dog, you're like you're showing him a treat and then he associates the treat to something. Like it's just kind of like by association.
Different associations. Yeah, that's what it is. So the desktop, he says, is like space and time. That's like the stage, bare ground. And then the icons is the material world around us. And another example he gives is a video game, just like in GTA, you know, right? You run around, you see a car, you have a gun, you shoot. You think it's all real and you take it seriously, but is it again?
Yeah, it's not. It's
all software behind that just, you know, creates that world. And this kind of ties in with like the Matrix as well.
It does.
When you think about it. So in the Matrix movie, right, the people, when they live their normal life, they're in the Matrix. But then you get pulled, and then you come into the real reality.
So which reality is the real one, right?
You know, is their reality really the real one?
We don't know.
But, you know, is our reality right now kind of a Matrix?
Are we in a simulation?
Yeah, exactly. That's like far beyond you know, our comprehension.
We don't know.
Yeah,
we might be.
Yeah, but that's kind of those questions are kind of like who knows?
But that's the thing. It comes down to this, right?
Does it matter?
Does it matter? My interface, like you call it, or whatever I'm interacting with, is here for a reason, I guess. Like, why do I need to understand if there's a simulation behind it, right? Like,
But yeah, that's the thing.
How am I
yeah.
going to survive if I know that information? Like, it's not going to help me that much more.
Yeah. So that's why, me too, I find the question of simulation a bit, kind of silly. But just to explain a bit more about the video games. So in a video game, right, to progress, you need to like collect points. You need to like complete certain objectives so you can progress. So just the same way in life, what you need to do is find good food, stay in health, find a mate, so you can progress. Yeah. If you just, go around moozing and just aimlessly like not doing your objective, it's like a video game. You're not going to progress. So that's how we
I guess video games are kind of like a transcription of reality, right? Like people that come up with a video game, are just like how do we interpret life, and they kind of put it in a game.
Yeah.
So just like so many other things, right? Like the Matrix movie, right? The Matrix movie is just it kind of reflects how humans always try to figure out more, right? Like what is there that meets the eye that we're not seeing, kind of thing. Like, is there more to our reality? And the Matrix movie, that's what it does, right? It explores,
like questions what we think that we know as reality. Is it really reality?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it is.
And that's what we do, right? Like I was just talking about simulation stuff. Well, in the movie The Matrix, like it's kind of that, like
it's basically that. Yeah. So just before we end, a couple of questions. But we were kind of talking about this here. We sort of answered this. So if the interface is a tool that we use to interact with reality, what is the true reality then? What is behind this interface?
Okay, so if the interface is the tool we use to interact with reality, what is true reality? Yeah, well, that comes down to, I guess, just the observer again, right? Like, how are you?
No, but what I mean, like, a computer, you're using a desktop, an interface, Windows, whatever, you're interacting with it. But what's behind that? What is actually reality in that sense? Well, we know in a computer, we say, oh, it's the pixels, it's the, atoms, whatever. Okay. But like, think of the desktop and icons, as I said, as space and time. Yeah. And the materials as like the icons. Okay. So what is
beyond that?
Like behind that, what is actually reality, in your opinion? Okay.
Okay. It's a good question.
The professor doesn't even have the answer, by the way. I'm just asking this.
Exactly. Like, I don't think I have an answer either.
Nobody has yet.
But that's the thing. I guess it depends. Kind of comes back to what I was trying to say earlier, where it just depends where you stand. It just depends what you interpret as reality. Your reality could be, okay, the icons are my reality. Yeah. But my reality could be, no, it's actually the binary behind the binary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or then the next guy could be like, no, it's the atoms that make up the computer. That's reality.
Yeah, but the professor, Donald Hoffman, he says, even down to the physics of it, right? When we say the quantum, atoms, whatever, those are still icons on our desktop.
Yeah, right. I get it. No. Because
it's still part of the interface, he means. Yeah. There is something behind the interface, but we still haven't like taken off the interface and
let's just ask God.
Let's just say, at this point, who is God? So we still don't know. I don't know if we ever will, because how can we like go behind the computer if we need the interface to see?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This brings up something I used to think about when I was younger. You know how like when you're young, like your parents always push you to like get a diploma and whatever?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, once you get your diploma, you're going to be successful. But in my head, I was like, this diploma, like, what is it? It's a piece of paper, like, what does it mean for real? Like, does it really equate to success? Or I don't know, it just came up in my head like that. Like,
yeah, you like questioned it further.
I questioned like, okay, it's a piece of paper.
Yeah. It's an agreement. It's basically a societal kind of agreement that everyone's done, that you go through this process, you get this paper, and that signifies something.
And that society that agreed, it's society as a whole that agreed that like the paper means something.
Yeah.
but does it really mean something?
No, exactly. Objectively, it doesn't.
Objectively, it doesn't. Like,
just like, money. Does money have value? No.
What is money? It's the same. Like, it's just, it depends how you observe what you're seeing or what you're doing.
And he says that, if we both look at a tomato, we both see a tomato. How is that, He says because evolution has evolved in a way that humans use the same interface. Basically, we all use Windows in real life.
Yeah, we don't some of us are on Linux, some of us are on Windows. Most of us are on Windows.
Yeah, most of us are on Windows. Maybe if you find some, far lost tribe somewhere that
back to the tribes.
We're always shitting on the tribe. Sorry for any indigenous people watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have internet. No, we're just joking. Don't take us serious. But yeah, what I'm saying is that most of us use the same interface. You see a tomato, I see a tomato.
Yeah.
We share the same because we evolved that way. But what was I saying? Yeah, so it's like an agreement, in that sense with your diploma.
Yeah, it's just an agreement. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. It's just, we evolved to interpret basically some of the icons in our interface, and we kind of all agree on what they are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we don't actually know what they are. We just think
we just agreed on that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Just like, with the languages that we use, why do I speak in English? Why don't I just say blah, 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 blah?
Exactly, yeah. What is English? Like,
just
it's just something we agreed on that we use
and that we understand each
interface.
Other. Yeah, it's like it's
the OS language.
It's the OS, yeah. It's the programming language. But anyways, so the second question here. So is there any use to even see what reality actually is? We were kind of like saying no, there isn't. So do we still stand on that?
I guess we go back to the simulation point, right? Like, is there a point in understanding it? Not really,
But could it unlock even more just
secrets, more Curiousaholic episodes?
well, yeah. I mean, what is the nature of human is to seek and to discover and to be curious.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason we have this podcast, right? And even the professor himself, he says, I don't know what reality, the truth actually is. He says it might be something that's not very nice, or it's a bit scary, or I don't know. But he says, I'm still looking forward to finding it because it could unlock more.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess it depends how you want to look at it, right? Like, is it...
But it's not necessary to like lead our lives. That's what I was going to
say, right? Like how necessary is it? Like, I'm sure there is pertinence to figuring out if we're living in a simulation, and it would unlock like secrets and more debates on this type of thing and whatever. But is it necessary to our survival in the current interface that we have, kind of thing? Not really.
So maybe it's not necessary for now, but maybe as we evolve as humans, maybe then.
Yeah. Once we have like memory chips like in our brains, and
once we've become freaking cyborgs and we can computate,
Yeah, once Neuralink like, implants those chips.
Everyone's implanted. Born with an implant.
Not excited for that.
I'm born with an implant. Born with an implant. Yeah, it's kind of like the same as, do we need to go to Mars yet?
Yeah, it comes down to that. It just depends. I guess it depends on that person's like perspective, right? If he thinks it's necessary, then go for it, I guess.
Go for it, yeah.
But if
yeah, it's not necessary per se. It's just that's what humans do. We just seek and find and keep discovering. And I do think that it would unlock even more unknown knowledge.
Unknown knowledge.
Yeah. But yeah, is it necessary to survive right now? No, we've done pretty damn well, right? By creating this interface, by generalizing things, by having these life hacks to be able to progress. So, no, I think we're doing pretty good so far. So hopefully we don't go extinct for some other stupid reason. But yeah.
Endocrine disrupting
yeah, that's gonna be the end of
chemicals. Yeah.
Human race.
That's the end right there.
Oh, damn. Those little sperm cells. So tiny. I'm tiny but mighty.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
That's the motto.
Anyway, so to close things off, right? Just to kind of sum up. So reality is something that is far beyond the capabilities of our perception. There's more that we don't know. Seeing the truth is not what helps us progress. It's actually not seeing the truth and just, bypassing that makes us progress. Whatever reality that exists, it exists because of our consciousness. Like you said, the observer with Einstein.
Yep.
And to navigate this world, we have our interface that reconstructs things and make us, understand reality better and control, our life, the universe, and everything. So
That was a cool topic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Not too weird and convoluted.
No, it was pretty weird, but
It was pretty.
it was pretty weird. But like, we brought up some good points, and I kind of reflected on what this person Donald was saying in his theory to some things I was thinking about in my own life, like the thing with the diploma.
With the diploma, yeah.
Kind of
In
kind
other
of ties
aspects.
Yeah. So
Of like the meaning of certain things, Is
Yeah,
there
just-
an inherent
yeah,
objective?
just figuring out why things are like that in society. Like, why do they have to be that way? Well, that's just because of how we're, we always try to figure out meaning to certain things or put like functions to different aspects of our lives. Like, what's the point of this pillow in front of me? Or what's the, like so many things.
It's to be comfy.
Yeah, it's to be comfy. But
Yeah. We
Just-
constantly try to seek meaning and
exactly.
make something out of what we perceive. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. Yeah, I know it was a bit of a weird topic. Did it make you question reality?
Well, that was the point. So you did a good job on that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it just makes you see things, no pun intended, differently.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys like this episode. So we try to release an episode every week or so, as much as we
try.
can. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you like to. We also release our episodes on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Don't forget to figure out what's different about this video.
Oh yes.
Leave a comment once you figured it out, and you might win a prize.
Oh my god.
You probably won't, but yeah.
We're starting to give out prizes now. We're not making that much money yet to be.
Hey, they don't have to know that. That's our reality.
Oh, that's our reality. That's, you only watch us through the screen. We only exist on the screen.
Exactly. All right.
Behind that, it's different. Anyway, so catch you guys next time.
Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks
for
a lot.
watching. Bye.
Bye.